What if Anakin defeated Yoda after Mustafar? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The lava rivers of Mustafar rage beneath the crumbling platform as Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi face each other for what should be the last time. The heat is unbearable, the air thick with ash and sulfur. Their lightsabers clash in a shower of sparks, blue against blue, master against apprentice, brother against brother. Every strike carries the weight of years of friendship, now twisted into hatred and betrayal. Anakin's face is contorted with rage, his eyes already bearing that yellow tint of the dark side. "You underestimate my power, Obi-Wan." The words echo across the volcanic landscape. Obi-Wan's face is etched with sorrow, tears mixing with sweat as he parries another vicious strike. "Don't try it, Anakin. I have the high ground." But Anakin cannot hear reason anymore. The dark side has consumed him completely. His mind is filled with images of Padme, of her turning against him, of the Jedi's betrayal, of Palpatine's promises of power. He thinks of his mother dying in his arms, of the Tusken Raiders he slaughtered, of the younglings whose lives he ended just hours ago. There is no going back now. He has crossed every line, burned every bridge. The only path forward is through Obi-Wan. With a primal scream, he launches himself from the droid platform, his lightsaber raised high for a killing blow. Time seems to slow. Obi-Wan's blade moves with practiced precision, the same move he's executed countless times in training. The blue plasma cuts through flesh and bone. Anakin's legs are severed. His left arm, outstretched to break his fall, touches the edge of the lava bank and immediately begins to burn. He tumbles down the slope, his body consumed by flames. The pain is beyond description, beyond anything he's ever experienced. He screams, not just from physical agony, but from the realization of what he's lost. Everything he did was to save Padme, and now he's dying on this hellish planet, having destroyed everything he loved. Obi-Wan stands above him, lightsaber deactivated, tears streaming down his face. "You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you." He picks up Anakin's fallen lightsaber, the weapon he helped Anakin construct years ago, and turns away. He cannot watch his former apprentice die. He cannot bear to see the man who was like a brother to him burn alive. As he walks toward his ship, his shoulders shake with sobs. Behind him, Anakin continues to burn, continued to scream, his voice growing weaker with each passing moment. But high above Mustafar, in the cold void of space, a shuttle breaks through the atmosphere. Aboard that shuttle, Emperor Palpatine sits on his throne, his yellow eyes closed in concentration. He has been monitoring this duel through the Force since it began, feeling every strike, every emotion, every moment of Anakin's fall. He knew Obi-Wan was the better duelist, knew that Anakin's rage would make him sloppy, knew this moment was inevitable. But he also knew something else. Anakin Skywalker is far too valuable to lose. The Chosen One, the most powerful Force user in a millennium, cannot be allowed to die on this volcanic rock. Palpatine opens his eyes and leans forward. "Faster. We must reach him before the damage becomes irreversible." The shuttle screams through the toxic atmosphere, its shields glowing red from the heat. The pilot, one of Palpatine's most trusted officers, pushes the engines beyond their limits. As they descend toward the lava flows, Palpatine extends his senses, searching for Anakin's signature in the Force. It's there, weak and fading, but still burning with that incredible potential. The shuttle's landing gear touches down on the scorched earth mere minutes after Obi-Wan's departure. The ramp drops and clone troopers rush out, their armor specially designed to withstand extreme heat. They carry advanced medical equipment, back-to-packs, stasis fields. Behind them, Palpatine descends the ramp with measured steps, his robes billowing in the superheated wind. He extends his hand toward Anakin's burning form and channels the Force. The invisible energy wraps around Anakin's body like a cocoon, pulling him away from the lava's edge, smothering the flames. The clones converge immediately, spraying him with fire-retardant foam and activating emergency medical protocols. As the foam clears, they can see the extent of the damage. It's severe, but not catastrophic. His legs are intact, though badly burned. His left arm is gone, severed by the heat of the lava. His face and torso are covered in third-degree burns. But his lungs are clear. His heart is still beating. He will not need the life support system that would have imprisoned him forever. One of the medical droids scans him and reports, "My lord, the subject's vitals are stabilizing. Cellular degradation is within acceptable parameters. Reconstruction is possible." Palpatine nods slowly, a thin smile crossing his lips. "Then begin immediately. I want him in a back-to-tank within the hour. The journey back to Coruscant takes 3 days." Anakin floats in a cylindrical back-to-tank, his body suspended in the healing fluid, breathing apparatus covering his ruined face. Medical droids monitor him constantly, injecting precise doses of healing agents, using the Force to accelerate his recovery. Palpatine visits him each day, standing before the tank, speaking in low tones. "Can you hear me, my young apprentice? The Jedi betrayed you. They took everything from you, your mother, your wife, your future. But I am giving you a new future, a future of power. When you wake, you will be reborn, stronger than before, the greatest warrior the galaxy has ever seen." Inside the tank, Anakin's mind drifts between consciousness and nightmare. He sees Padmé's face, her look of horror as he choked her. He sees the younglings cowering before his blade. He sees Obi-Wan's face, filled with disappointment and grief. But beneath it all, beneath the guilt and pain, there is rage. A burning, consuming rage that will not be extinguished. On the 3rd day, the medical droids begin the first major surgery. They attach a cybernetic arm to his left shoulder, a masterwork of Sith engineering. It's not the crude prosthetic he wore before, but something far more advanced. The metal is black, inscribed with Sith runes that channel the dark side, making it stronger and faster than flesh could ever be. The connection to his nervous system is flawless. When he wakes, it will respond to his thoughts as naturally as his original limb. They treat his burns with bacta, with grafted skin, with advanced regeneration techniques stolen from a dozen different species. The scars will remain, permanent reminders of his defeat, but the tissue beneath will heal. His face, once handsome, now bears the marks of the dark side. Burn scars trace across his cheeks and forehead. His eyes, when they finally open, are permanently yellow, the color of sulfur, the color of the Sith. When Anakin finally regains consciousness, he finds himself in a private medical facility deep within the Imperial Palace on Coruscant. The room is dark, lit only by red emergency lights. He tries to sit up and immediately feels the weight of his new arm. For a moment, panic seizes him. He flexes his fingers, watching the black metal respond perfectly to his will. Then he remembers. Mustafar, Obi-Wan, the lava, Padme. The rage returns, stronger than before. A door slides open, and Palpatine enters, flanked by 2 royal guards. He dismisses them with a wave and approaches Anakin's bedside. "Welcome back, Lord Vader." The name hits Anakin like a physical blow. Vader. It sounds like a death knell. He looks down at his scarred body, at his mechanical arm, at what he's become. What have I become? Palpatine's smile is cold. You have become what you were always meant to be. The Jedi tried to chain you with their pathetic rules and codes. But you have broken those chains. You are free now. Free to use your power as you see fit. Over the following weeks, Anakin undergoes extensive physical therapy. He learns to move in his new body, to compensate for the weight distribution, to integrate his cybernetic arm into his fighting style. Imperial trainers, former soldiers, and dark side adepts push him to his limits. He practices against training remotes, against droids, against live opponents. His rage fuels every movement. When they offer him a suit, a black armor that would protect him and enhance his abilities further, he refuses. "I will not hide behind a mask. Let the galaxy see what the Jedi made me." Palpatine allows it. A visible monster is sometimes more effective than a hidden one. But there is one more test, one final trial that Anakin must pass before his transformation is complete. One evening, Palpatine summons him to the throne room. The vast chamber is empty except for the 2 of them. The Emperor sits on his throne, fingers steepled, studying his apprentice with those calculating yellow eyes. "You have recovered well, my young apprentice. Your power has grown. But there is one obstacle remaining, one final ghost of your past that must be laid to rest." Anakin's mechanical fist clenches. "Name it." "My master, the ancient Jedi Master Yoda. He escaped during Order 66, fled like the coward he is. He represents everything that was wrong with the old order. Their arrogance, their blindness, their failure disguised as wisdom." The name sends a jolt through Anakin. Yoda, the Grand Master who never believed in him, who questioned his training from the beginning, who saw the darkness in him and did nothing to help. Where is he? That, my apprentice, is for you to discover. Hunt him down, kill him, prove that you have surpassed the Jedi completely. Only then will your transformation be absolute. Only then will the past truly be dead. The obsession takes root immediately, consuming Anakin's every thought. He throws himself into the hunt with the same intensity he once brought to freeing slaves on Tatooine, the same focus he used in the Clone Wars. But now that energy is twisted, corrupted, aimed at destroying rather than saving, he begins in the Jedi Temple, now a monument to their destruction. The bodies have been cleared away, but the scorch marks remain. Anakin walks through the halls where he trained as a Padawan, his boots echoing on the stone floors. Each room holds a memory. The training cells where he sparred with other younglings, the meditation chambers where he struggled to find inner peace, the archives where he spent countless hours studying. All of it meaningless now. All of it lies. He makes his way to the council chambers, to the room where the masters once sat in judgment. Their seats are empty now, covered in dust. He sits in the center of the room, cross-legged, and begins to meditate. But this is not the Jedi meditation he learned as a boy. This is something darker, more primal. He opens himself to the dark side, letting it flow through him like a river of ice and fire. The Force responds, showing him fragments of the past. He sees the council meetings, sees them discussing him, questioning whether he should be trained, sees the distrust in their eyes, the fear. They were afraid of me from the beginning, afraid of my power, afraid that I would surpass them all. And they were right to be afraid. He pushes deeper, searching for traces of Yoda specifically. The ancient master's presence has saturated this temple for centuries. Finding his signature is like following a thread through a tapestry. Anakin follows that thread, letting it guide him through the Force. He sees glimpses of places: a Wookiee settlement, an ice planet, a system in the Outer Rim. Each vision is fragmentary, incomplete, but together they form a map. He opens his eyes and stands. The hunt has truly begun. His first destination is Kashyyyk, the Wookiee homeworld. Intelligence reports suggest that Yoda had strong ties to the Wookiee people, that he fought alongside them during the Clone Wars. If anyone knows where he fled, it would be them. Anakin's shuttle descends through Kashyyyk's atmosphere. The vast Rosha trees stretching as far as the eye can see. The planet is under Imperial occupation now, its resources being strip-mined to fuel the growing war machine. The Wookiees who once fought so bravely for the Republic are now slaves in their own home. Anakin feels nothing about this. They chose the wrong side. They harbored Jedi. They deserve their fate. He lands in one of the larger settlements, a city built into the massive trees. Clone troopers, now stormtroopers in white armor, escort him to a detention center where Wookiee prisoners are being held. The chieftain, a massive Wookiee named Tarful, is brought before him in chains. The proud warrior's fur is matted, his eyes defiant despite his captivity. Anakin stands before him, his scarred face illuminated by the red glow of his lightsaber. Where is Yoda? The Wookiee roars something in Shiriwook, a language Anakin understands perfectly from his years in the Clone Wars. It translates roughly to an insult about Anakin's parentage and a statement that he will never betray the Jedi. Anakin's expression doesn't change. He extends his hand and invisible fingers close around Tarful's throat. The Wookiee's roar becomes a strangled gasp. "I'm not asking. I'm taking." Anakin closes his eyes and plunges into Tarful's mind like a blade. The technique is brutal, invasive, nothing like the gentle mind tricks the Jedi taught. This is violation, pure and simple. He tears through the Wookiee's memories, ripping out information without regard for the damage he causes. He sees Yoda fleeing the planet after the execution of Order 66. Sees him saying goodbye to Tarful and Chewbacca. Sees him boarding a small escape pod. But the destination? That's hidden. Locked away behind mental barriers that Tarful constructed specifically to protect it. Anakin pushes harder, using the Force to smash through those barriers like a hammer through glass. The Wookiee's mind begins to fracture under the assault. Blood trickles from his nose. His eyes roll back. And then Anakin sees it. Not a destination, but a feeling. A sense of isolation, of remoteness. A swamp world, perhaps. The outer rim. It's not much, but it's something. He releases his grip, and Tarful collapses, unconscious but alive. The damage to his mind is severe. He may never be the same. Anakin turns to the stormtroopers. Execute him and every Wookiee in this facility. Then burn the settlement. No one who aids the Jedi deserves to live. As he boards his shuttle, the fires are already beginning. The screams of Wookiees echo through the forest. Anakin doesn't look back. His next stop is Ilum, the sacred ice planet where Jedi have gathered kyber crystals for thousands of years. If Yoda fled to a place strong in the Force, this would be a logical choice. The planet is a frozen wasteland, its surface scoured by constant blizzards. Anakin's shuttle lands near the entrance to the crystal caves, the same caves where he once gathered his own crystal as a Padawan. The memory is bitter now. He remembers his excitement, his hope that finding his crystal would prove to the council that he belonged. He was so naive then, so foolish. The entrance to the caves is sealed with ice. Anakin ignites his lightsaber and cuts through, the red blade steaming as it melts the frozen barrier. Inside, the caves are as beautiful as he remembers. Kyber crystals glow with inner light, casting rainbow patterns across the ice walls. Each crystal hums with the Force, singing a unique song. But the songs sound different now. To his dark side-corrupted senses, they sound like screams. He walks deeper into the caves, following the paths he once took as a boy. He reaches the chamber where he found his first crystal, a small hollow in the ice. The crystal is gone now, taken by him years ago, but the space remains. He sits where he sat, as a child, and reaches out with the Force. Yoda, are you here? Did you come back to this place? The Force shows him visions. He sees himself as a child, excited and pure, sees Obi-Wan waiting for him at the entrance, proud of his Padawan, sees the hope in his own eyes, the belief that he could be a great Jedi, that he could make a difference. That version of himself seems like a stranger now. Then, the vision shifts. He sees darkness, sees himself as he is now, sees his future, a path of blood and violence stretching ahead. And standing at the end of that path, shrouded in shadows, is a small figure with a Gaimer stick, Yoda. But when Anakin tries to reach for him, the vision dissipates. The ancient master is not here. This is just an echo, a warning, or perhaps a prophecy. Anakin leaves Ilum with no new information but with a renewed sense of purpose. The vision confirmed that his path will lead to Yoda eventually. He just needs to keep searching. Months pass. Anakin travels to a dozen different worlds, following every lead, every rumor. He visits Jedha, the holy city, and interrogates the guardians of the wills. They know nothing, but he destroys their temple anyway, reducing their ancient shrine to rubble. The Force is not theirs to guard anymore. It belongs to the Sith now. He returns to Coruscant periodically to report to Palpatine and to train the Inquisitors, the dark side adepts tasked with hunting down surviving Jedi. These Force sensitives, former Jedi who were turned or broken, look at Anakin with a mixture of fear and reverence. He is what they aspire to be: powerful, ruthless, favored by the Emperor. Anakin puts them through brutal training regimens, pushing them to embrace their anger and hatred. One of them, a Pao-an former Jedi Knight, now called the Grand Inquisitor, approaches him after a particularly harsh session. "My lord, your methods are effective, but some of the younger Inquisitors are struggling. Perhaps if we were to ease them into the dark side more gradually." Anakin's yellow eyes fix on him. "The Jedi coddled you. They told you to suppress your emotions, to deny your feelings. I'm showing you the truth. The dark side is not something to ease into. It's a fire that either consumes you or makes you stronger. Those who can't handle it don't deserve to serve the Empire." The Grand Inquisitor bows. "Of course, my lord. As you say." But privately, the Inquisitors whisper about Anakin. They sense his obsession with finding Yoda, his single-minded focus that borders on madness. They wonder what will happen when he finally finds the ancient master. Will it bring him peace, or will it destroy him completely? The breakthrough comes after 9 months of searching. Anakin is meditating in his quarters when he feels it. A disturbance in the Force. It's subtle, easily missed, but to his heightened senses, it's like a beacon. He follows that sensation, letting it guide him through the cosmic web of the Force. It leads him to the outer rim, to a sector of space largely unexplored and unmapped. He cross-references it with the fragmentary information he extracted from Tarful and other sources. There, a small system, barely worthy of note. A single planet, designated on star charts as Dagobah. The description matches what he saw in his visions. Swamp world, minimal technological presence, strong in the Force. It's perfect for someone who wants to disappear. Anakin immediately commandeers a shuttle and sets course, telling no one, not even Palpatine. This is personal. This is between him and the ghost of his past. The journey takes several days, traveling through hyperspace lanes that are rarely used. As he gets closer, Anakin begins to feel the planet's presence in the Force. It's ancient, wild, untamed. The dark side is strong here, but so is the light. The two exist in a strange balance, like a wound in the Force that never fully heals. When he drops out of hyperspace, Dagobah looms before him. A green and brown world, covered almost entirely in swamps and mist. There are no cities, no spaceports, no signs of civilization. Exactly the kind of place a Jedi Master would choose for exile. Anakin begins his descent, but immediately the planet seems to fight him. His nav computer glitches, displaying impossible readings. His instruments show contradictory data. The Force itself seems to be interfering with his technology. He switches to manual control and guides the shuttle through the thick atmosphere by instinct alone. The landing is rough. His shuttle touches down on what appears to be solid ground, but immediately begins to sink. Anakin quickly redistributes the weight, using the Force to reinforce the landing gear, keeping the ship from disappearing into the swamp completely. He opens the hatch and steps out into the oppressive humidity. The air is thick, almost liquid in its density. His cybernetic arm immediately begins to fog, moisture condensing on the cool metal. The servos whine as they work harder to compensate for the resistance. Around him, the swamp is alive with sound. Creatures he can't see call out from the mist. The water bubbles with life. The trees, massive and twisted, seem to lean toward him as if curious about this intrusion. Anakin ignites his lightsaber, the red blade casting long shadows. He begins to walk, following the pull in the Force. As he moves deeper into the swamp, the terrain becomes more treacherous. What looks like solid ground often turns out to be floating vegetation over deep water. He has to leap from root to root, using the Force to guide his steps. Several times, large predators surface from the murky water, drawn by the vibrations of his movement. A dragon snake, easily 20 meters long, erupts from a pool ahead of him, its jaws wide. Anakin doesn't break stride. He extends his hand and crushes the creature's skull with the Force, letting its body splash back into the water. The other predators, sensing his power, give him a wide berth. After hours of walking, he feels it. A dark side presence, strong and ancient. It's coming from a cave entrance, partially hidden by hanging vines. Anakin approaches slowly, his every sense alert. This could be a trap. Yoda could be waiting for him. Or this could be something else entirely. He parts the vines with his lightsaber and steps inside. The cave is dark, the walls covered in some kind of luminescent fungus that provides faint, eerie light. The air is even more oppressive here, charged with dark side energy that makes his skin crawl. As he walks deeper, he begins to see things, shadows that move when they shouldn't, faces in the walls, whispers in languages he doesn't understand. This is a dark side vergence, a place where the barrier between the physical world and the Force is thin. And then he sees himself. Standing at the end of the cave is Anakin Skywalker, but not as he is now. This Anakin is encased in black armor, a helmet covering his face, breathing through a mechanical respirator. The vision, the alternate version of himself, speaks. This is what you were meant to become. This is what you avoided. But at what cost? The armored Anakin ignites a lightsaber, red like his own, and attacks. Anakin parries the first strike, confused. How can he be fighting himself? But the Force doesn't care about logic. This is a test, a trial of the dark side cave. They duel through the cavern, their movements perfectly matched because they're the same person. Every attack Anakin makes, his double anticipates. Every defense is countered. It's like fighting his own reflection. Finally, Anakin reaches into the Force and pulls, not at his opponent, but at the cave itself. The ceiling begins to collapse, rocks falling like rain. The vision of his armored self looks up and speaks one last time. You cannot escape what you are. Then it vanishes, and Anakin is alone in the collapsing cave. He sprints toward the exit, using the Force to deflect falling debris, and bursts back out into the swamp, just as the entrance caves in behind him. He stands there, breathing hard, his mind reeling from what he just experienced. Was that a warning? A prophecy? Or just his own fears made manifest? He doesn't know, and right now, he doesn't care. He has to find Yoda. He has to finish this. He follows the Force signature again, moving through the swamp with renewed determination. The sun, barely visible through the thick mist, is beginning to set when he finally sees it. A small hut, barely more than a shelter, nestled between the roots of a massive tree. Smoke rises from a tiny chimney. Someone is home. Anakin approaches slowly, every muscle tense. This is it. This is the moment he's been preparing for. He stops a few meters from the door and reaches out with the force. The presence inside is undeniable. Ancient, powerful, tinged with sadness but still strong in the light. Yoda. The door opens before Anakin can knock. Yoda stands in the doorway, leaning on his Geimer stick, his large eyes fixed on Anakin. The ancient master looks older than Anakin remembers, more worn, but there's still strength in those eyes. A strength that makes Anakin's rage flare even hotter. Skywalker, knew you would come. I did. Felt your presence in the Force since you landed. Anakin's hand moves to his lightsaber, but doesn't ignite it yet. You should have hidden better, Master. Yoda's ears droop. Hidden well enough. I did, for a time, but hide forever. One cannot. Not from the Force. Not from destiny. And certainly not from you. Come inside. Talk. We should, before blades are drawn. Anakin hesitates. Every instinct screams that this is a trap, but curiosity, and perhaps a remnant of the respect he once held for Yoda, makes him nod. He ducks through the low doorway, his frame far too large for the small dwelling. Inside, the hut is sparse. A bed, a small cooking area, shelves lined with roots and herbs, no technology. No weapons visible, just the simple life of a hermit. Yoda gestures to a small stool. Sit if you can. Uncomfortable, I know, for one so tall. Prepared for visitors, I was not. Anakin remains standing, his back to the door, his escape route clear. I didn't come here to chat, Yoda. I came here to finish what should have been done a long time ago. The Jedi Order is dead. You're the last remnant of their failure. Yoda nods slowly, his expression sad. Failed. We did. No argument from me you will hear. Failed you most of all. Seen your pain, we should have. Helped you, we could have. But blinded by tradition, we were, by fear of the dark side, by attachment to our ways. The admission catches Anakin off guard. He expected denial, justification, the same Jedi double talk he's heard his entire life. But Yoda is agreeing with him. Failed the entire galaxy. We did. But especially you, young Skywalker, born of the Force, you were the chosen one. Bring balance, you were meant to. Instead, pushed you to darkness. We did. Anakin's fist clenches. Don't try to manipulate me with guilt. You had your chance to help me. All of you did. But instead, you questioned me, doubted me, held me back at every turn. And when I needed you most, when my mother died, when I had nightmares about Padme, you gave me nothing but platitudes about letting go. True, this is, and pay for it. We have. Dead, the Order is. In exile, I am. Nothing left of what we built. There is. But kill me. Will it bring you peace? End your suffering? Will it? Anakin ignites his lightsaber, the red blade humming in the confined space. I don't want peace. I want justice. Justice for what the Jedi took from me." Yoda's expression hardens. "Took from you? Tell me, young Skywalker, who killed the younglings? Who betrayed the Republic? Who choked Padme? The Jedi did those things. Or did you?" The words hit Anakin like blows. His vision blurs red. "How dare you speak her name? How dare you act like you knew her? Like you understood what I was trying to do? I did it all for her. To save her. Everything was to save her. And died. She did." Yoda's voice is gentle now, filled with infinite sadness. "Not because of the Jedi. She died. Because of the dark side. Because of the Emperor. Because of choices you made. Lies the Sith told you. And believe them you did." Anakin's scream echoes through the hut. "You're lying. She died because you turned her against me. Because Obi-Wan poisoned her mind. Because the Jedi could never accept that I loved her." "No." Yoda shakes his head. "Died because broken her heart was. Saw what you had become, she did. And bear it, she could not. Love you, she did. To the very end. But save you, she could not." Anakin's lightsaber trembles in his hand. "Stop talking. Stop trying to get into my head." Yoda sighs. "Tell you something else. I must. Something you deserve to know, despite everything." Padme's last words. Would you hear them? Before she died, conscious she was, for a few moments. Spoke of you, she did. Anakin wants to refuse, wants to attack, wants to end this conversation and this old fool. But he can't. He needs to know. What did she say? Her exact words. These were, "There is still good in him. I know there is." Believed in you she did, even at the end. Even after everything. The words pierce through Anakin's defenses, like nothing else could. He sees Padme's face, hears her voice, believes in the goodness that's still inside him. But that goodness is buried under too much pain, too much rage. It's easier to let the darkness consume it than to dig it out. And there is more you should know. Children she bore before she died. Twins, a boy and a girl. Time stops. The hut, the swamp, the entire planet seems to hold its breath. Anakin's lightsaber lowers an inch. What did you say? Twins Padme had, Luke and Leia. Born in the medical facility on Polis Massa. They were. Survived. They did, though their mother did not. The lightsaber drops another inch. Anakin's voice is barely a whisper. I have children. Where are they? What happened to them? For their safety, hidden they are, separated, to protect them from the Emperor, from the Inquisitors, from you. Protected they must be, until ready they are to face their destiny. Anakin's rage explodes. You hid them from me? You kept my children from me. They're mine. Mine. I have a right to know where they are. To see them. To hold them. Do you? Yoda's voice is hard now. What would you do with them, Skywalker? Train them in the dark side. Turn them into weapons for the Emperor? Use them to consolidate your power? No, Father. You would be. Master, you would be. Anakin's scream is primal. His lightsaber comes down in a vicious arc. Yoda's lightsaber ignites in a flash of green, meeting the red blade with a crack that shakes the hut. The force of the impact sends splinters of wood flying. They separate, and face each other in the confined space, both knowing that words are finished. Now there is only the fight. Grieve for you. I do, young Skywalker, but allow you to fall further. I cannot. Stop you, I must. Try again, my old master. You failed to stop the Sith, failed to save the Republic, failed to train me properly. What makes you think you can stop me now? Stronger than any Jedi. I am. Stronger than you. See about that. We shall. They explode into motion. Anakin attacks first. A series of brutal overhead strikes, designed to use his superior strength and reach. But Yoda is not there when the blade falls. The ancient master moves with speed that seems impossible for someone so old. His small frame darting between attacks. He counters with quick jabs and slashes, targeting Anakin's legs, his mechanical arm, any weakness he can find. The hut explodes around them. Unable to contain the fury of their duel, they burst out into the swamp, their lightsabers flashing in the fading light. Anakin pursues Yoda relentlessly, his attacks growing more aggressive with each exchange. He channels his rage, his pain, his hatred into every strike. He thinks of Padme, of his mother, of every moment of suffering in his life, and pours it into his blade. Yoda defends and counters, his movements precise and economical. He uses the terrain, leaping from root to root, forcing Anakin to follow. He uses the Force to hurl debris, fallen logs, even blasts of swamp water at his opponent. But Anakin is not the impulsive Padawan he once was. He's learned control, learned to channel his emotions into focus. He anticipates Yoda's movements, uses the Force to track him, even when the ancient master moves too fast for eyes to follow. Their blades lock together, red against green, and for a moment they're face to face. Yoda stares up at him with those ancient eyes. See it in you. I can. The boy you were. The man you could have been. Not too late it is. Choose differently, you still can. Anakin snarls. That boy is dead. You killed him with your rules and your fear. Only Darth Vader remains. Then grieve for that boy. I do. Anakin breaks the lock with brute strength, sending Yoda skidding backward. He follows with a spinning attack, his blade cutting through the air in a deadly arc. Yoda ducks under it and strikes at Anakin's legs. The red blade comes down to parry at the last second, and the force of both their powers creates a shockwave that sends water spraying in all directions. They separate again, circling each other. Around them, the swamp has grown darker. Night is falling on Dagobah, and the nocturnal creatures are beginning to stir. But neither combatant notices. Their entire world has narrowed to this moment, this fight. Yoda shifts his strategy. He begins to use more Force abilities, hurling Anakin with telekinesis, creating barriers of compressed air, even manipulating the water itself to hamper his movements. Anakin counters with his own power, using the dark side to enhance his speed and strength. When Yoda throws him backward, he catches himself in midair and launches forward with even greater force. When Yoda creates a barrier, Anakin shatters it with raw power. They move deeper into the swamp, their battle taking them across pools and through thickets. At one point, Yoda leads Anakin onto a fallen log spanning a deep pool. The log is slippery, barely wide enough for Anakin's feet. It's a tactical disadvantage, exactly the kind of terrain that favors Yoda's size and agility. But Anakin refuses to be herded. He uses the Force to anchor himself and continues his assault. Their blades meet in a flurry of strikes too fast to count. Sparks fly with each impact, reflecting off the dark water below. Then Yoda does something unexpected. He deactivates his lightsaber and drops off the log, disappearing into the water. Anakin stops, confused. Is this surrender? A trick? He reaches out with the Force, searching for Yoda's presence. There, below him, moving through the water with surprising speed. Anakin leaps off the log just as it explodes upward, propelled by Yoda's Force push. The ancient master bursts from the water, lightsaber igniting as he spins, water cascading off him in a glittering arc. His blade comes for Anakin's head. Anakin barely parries, his footing unstable as he lands on the marshy ground. Yoda presses his advantage, his attacks coming from impossible angles, using his ability to leap and spin to disorient his opponent. For the first time in the fight, Anakin is forced fully on the defensive. He blocks and parries desperately, giving ground, trying to regain his balance and momentum. But Anakin Skywalker has fought countless battles in the Clone Wars. He's faced armies, Sith assassins, impossible odds. He knows how to turn a losing position into a winning one. He stops retreating and suddenly surges forward into Yoda's attack rather than away from it. The move is unexpected, reckless. Yoda's blade grazes his shoulder, burning through his shirt and searing his skin. But Anakin ignores the pain. His mechanical fist comes around in a devastating punch that Yoda barely dodges. The follow-up Force push sends the ancient master flying backward, crashing through a stand of small trees. Anakin advances, his lightsaber held in a guard position. Blood seeps from his shoulder wound, but he doesn't care. Yoda emerges from the wreckage, his breathing slightly labored. He's tiring. 900 years old, even with the Force to sustain him, takes a toll. Run out of tricks yet, old master? Or do you have a few more retreats planned? No retreat. Yoda straightens, his lightsaber held steady. Here, I make my stand. For the Jedi, for the Republic, for the boy you once were. They rush at each other simultaneously. This exchange is different from before. There's a finality to it, a sense that the end is approaching. Their blades weave intricate patterns in the air, offense and defense blending seamlessly. Anakin uses Form 5, Gemso, the style Yoda helped refine, turning it against its creator. He uses powerful strikes to beat down Yoda's defenses, using his superior strength to gradually overwhelm the ancient master. Yoda responds with Form 4, Ataru, relying on acrobatics and speed. But the years of exile have taken their toll. He's not as fast as he once was. Each flip and spin takes more effort. Each landing is slightly less stable. Anakin sees it and presses harder. His attacks become more aggressive, more relentless. He gives Yoda no time to rest, no space to breathe. Strike after strike rains down, each one driving the ancient master back another step. They reach the edge of a small cliff, a drop of perhaps 10 meters into murky water. Yoda has nowhere left to retreat. He makes a desperate counterattack, unleashing a flurry of strikes that force Anakin to defend. For a moment, it seems like Yoda might turn the tide. His blade moves like green lightning, striking from high and low, from the left and right. Anakin is forced to give ground, his defenses tested to their limit. Then Yoda tries something different. He reaches out with the Force, not to attack Anakin's body, but to attack his mind. It's a dangerous technique, one the Jedi rarely used. But Yoda is desperate now. He needs to reach the man beneath the monster. Yoda's consciousness touches Anakin's, and suddenly they're both experiencing a shared vision. They see Padme in the medical facility on Polis Massa. She's lying on the bed, her face pale, her body weak from childbirth. Obi-Wan is there, and so is the medical droid. She's dying. Her heart is broken. But in her last conscious moments, she speaks. "Obi-Wan, there's good in him." "I know there is." The vision shifts. They see the twins being born. First, Luke, crying and strong. Then Leia, smaller but with a fierce spirit, even as an infant. They see Padme hold them, one in each arm. For just a moment, she smiles, a smile of pure love, before the life fades from her eyes. The vision shifts again. They see Bail Organa taking Leia, wrapping her in blankets, promising to protect her and raise her as his own. They see Obi-Wan taking Luke to Tatooine, to the Lars homestead, placing him in the arms of Owen and Beru. The moisture farmers look down at the baby with a mixture of fear and tenderness. He has his father's eyes. The vision shifts one final time. They see the twins as they are now, 3 years old. Luke runs through the desert sands of Tatooine, chasing a small droid, laughing with pure joy. Leia sits in the royal palace on Alderaan, already showing signs of her mother's grace and intelligence as she learns from her tutors. They're alive. They're safe. They're loved. The vision ends. Anakin staggers back, his mind reeling. For one crystalline moment, Anakin Skywalker returns. The darkness recedes, and he sees clearly. He sees what he's done, what he's become. He sees his children living and growing without him because he made choices that led him down this path. His lightsaber lowers. Tears stream down his scarred face. Padme, my children, what have I done? What have I become? Yoda lowers his own lightsaber, hope flickering in his ancient eyes. Yes, see it now. You do. Not too late. It still is. Come back. You can. Help you, we can. Turn away from this darkness. Embrace the light. For your children do it. For Padme's memory. For yourself. For a long moment, Anakin stands at a crossroads. The light and the dark wage war within him. He thinks of Padme's last words, of his children's faces, of the man he once wanted to be. He thinks of becoming a Jedi Master, of using his power to help people, of making his mother proud. It would be so easy to just let go, to stop fighting, to accept the light. But then he hears Palpatine's voice in his head. She betrayed you. They all betrayed you. The Jedi took everything from you. You are too far gone for redemption. The only path forward is power. The darkness surges back, stronger than before. Anakin's eyes snap open, yellow and burning with rage. He realizes what Yoda just did. The mental invasion was a violation, a manipulation, just like everything the Jedi ever did. They claim to be righteous, but they use the same techniques as the Sith. They're all the same. Hypocrites, liars. No, Anakin's voice is cold, dead. You tried to trick me, tried to use my love for my children against me, but I see through you now. I see through all of you. The Jedi are no better than the Sith. You just hide your manipulation behind pretty words and ancient traditions. Yoda's hope crumbles. His ears droop. His shoulders sag. No trick it was. Truth you saw. Love you felt. But choose darkness. You still do. Then lost to us. You truly are. The final battle begins. But this time, something is different. Yoda is exhausted, drained from the mental battle. The technique took more out of him than he expected. Maintaining the vision, sharing it with Anakin, fighting off the darkness in Anakin's mind, all while defending himself physically. It was too much. Anakin sees the weakness immediately. He channels all his pain, all his rage. Everything Yoda's vision stirred up inside him and pours it into a devastating assault. His attacks come faster than before, harder than before. Each strike carries the weight of his anguish. He uses techniques he learned as a Jedi, perverted through the dark side. He uses Form 7, Juyo, the most aggressive form, the one that dances on the edge of darkness. He combines it with Form 5's power, creating a hybrid style that's uniquely his own. Yoda defends desperately, but he's fading. Each block comes a fraction of a second slower. Each counterattack has less power behind it. He tries to use the Force to create distance. But Anakin breaks through his barriers with raw strength. Anakin extends his mechanical hand and channels the dark side. Force, lightning, blue and crackling, erupts from his fingertips. Yoda catches it with his lightsaber, absorbing and redirecting it, just as he did with Palpatine years ago. But the effort costs him. He staggers, his small body trembling. Anakin doesn't relent. He continues the lightning assault while simultaneously attacking with his lightsaber. Yoda is forced to split his concentration, using the Force to block the lightning while defending against the physical strikes. It's an impossible situation. No one, not even Yoda, can maintain both defenses indefinitely. The ancient master makes a choice. He stops blocking the lightning and focuses entirely on the lightsaber. The dark side energy hits him, coursing through his small body. He screams in pain but uses the moment to launch a desperate counterattack. His green blade comes up, aiming for Anakin's chest, but Anakin is ready. He sidesteps the strike and brings his own blade down across Yoda's arm. The ancient master's lightsaber flies from his severed hand, deactivating as it spins through the air and splashes into the swamp. Yoda collapses, clutching the stump of his arm, his face twisted in agony. Anakin stands over him, lightsaber pointed at his throat. This is it. This is the moment he's been waiting for. The final victory over the Jedi. The proof that he's surpassed them all. He expects to feel triumph, satisfaction, vindication. But there's nothing, just emptiness. Yoda looks up at him, pain and sorrow mingling in his ancient eyes. Do it, then. Strike me down. Become what the Emperor wants. Prove that the Jedi were right to fear you. Anakin's blade trembles. Shut up. Truly lost you are. But remember this, Skywalker. Not the last of the Jedi am I. Hope remains. Always, hope remains. Your children carry the light. One day, they will find you. One day, they will call you back. And choose again. You will have to. Choose wisely. I hope you do. Anakin's scream echoes across the swamp. He drives his lightsaber through Yoda's chest. The ancient Jedi Master gasps, his eyes widening. Then, slowly, his body begins to fade. Not falling like a corpse, but dissolving, becoming one with the Force. His robes collapse, empty. His Gaimer stick falls to the ground. And then there's nothing. Yoda is gone. Anakin stands there, his lightsaber still extended, his breathing ragged. He stares at the empty robes, at the place where one of the greatest Jedi who ever lived just vanished. He should feel something. Victory. Relief. Peace. But there's only the void. The hollow emptiness that no amount of power can fill. He deactivates his lightsaber and turns away. He doesn't take Yoda's lightsaber or his belongings. He doesn't destroy the hut or leave any mark of his presence. He simply walks back to his shuttle, his shoulders slumped, his mechanical arm hanging loose at his side. The journey back to Coruscant is a blur. Anakin sits in the pilot's chair, staring at hyperspace, seeing nothing. When he arrives, he goes directly to the Imperial Palace, to the throne room where Palpatine waits. The Emperor rises from his throne as Anakin enters, his yellow eyes gleaming with anticipation. Well, is it done? Anakin kneels, his head bowed. He's dead, my master. The last of the Jedi is no more. Excellent. Excellent. Palpatine's laughter echoes through the chamber. You have surpassed every expectation, my young apprentice. You have accomplished what no Sith has done in 1,000 years. The Jedi Order is extinct. Their temples are destroyed. Their teachings are lost. And you are the weapon that ended them. Rise, Lord Vader. Rise and take your place at my side. Anakin stands, but there's no pride in his posture, no sense of accomplishment. Palpatine notices but says nothing. He understands that true darkness requires sacrifice, the loss of everything that makes one human, and Anakin has sacrificed it all. A ceremony is held. 3 days later, the Senate, what remains of it, gathers in the grand chamber. Palpatine stands at the podium, with Anakin at his side. Citizens of the Empire, today I bring you news of a great victory. The terrorist known as Yoda, the leader of the failed Jedi Order, has been eliminated by Lord Vader. The Jedi, who sought to overthrow our peaceful empire, are no more. Their threat is ended. We are safe. We are secure. The Senate erupts in applause. Some of it is genuine, from those who truly believe in the Empire. Much of it is forced, from those who fear what will happen if they don't show enthusiasm. Anakin stands there, expressionless, as they celebrate. He looks out at the thousands of faces and feels nothing but contempt. They're celebrating death, celebrating the end of an order that served the galaxy for millennia. And they don't even understand what they've lost. Over the following months, Anakin throws himself into his work with renewed fervor. He becomes the Emperor's enforcer, more feared than any figure in the galaxy. He leads the Inquisitorius on mission after mission, hunting down the last surviving Jedi. On Felucia, he corners a Twi'lek Padawan named Shah Kun. She's barely more than a girl, terrified and alone. She begs for mercy, claims she's renounced the Jedi Order, that she just wants to live in peace. Anakin cuts her down without hesitation. Mercy is for the weak. On Jabiim, he finds a former Jedi Master who has been protecting the local population from Imperial mining operations. The Master, a human named Kai Justice, fights bravely, but Anakin defeats him and executes him in front of the villagers as an example. On Nar Shaddaa, he tracks down 3 Padawans who survived Order 66 and have been living as smugglers. They ambush him in a cantina, the 3 of them attacking together. It makes no difference. Within minutes, all 3 are dead. Word of Anakin's hunt spreads throughout the galaxy. Surviving Jedi go deeper into hiding, abandoning their identities, severing their connection to the Force. Some succeed, most don't. Anakin is relentless, methodical, unstoppable. But with each kill, the emptiness inside him grows. He remembers Yoda's words, "Not the last of the Jedi am I." Hope remains. He wonders where the other Jedi are hiding. He wonders if any will rise to challenge him. And most of all, he wonders about his children. Where are they? What are they like? Do they know about him? Will they hate him when they learn the truth? These thoughts plague him in the quiet moments, the times when he's alone in his quarters with nothing but his demons for company. He tries to drown them out with meditation, with training, with violence. Nothing works. On Alderaan, Bail Organa stands in the royal nursery, watching young Leia sleep. She's 3 years old now, bright and curious, and strong in ways that remind him of both her parents. A servant enters quietly and hands him a datapad. He reads the message, his face growing grim. Yoda is dead, killed by Vader. He looks back at Leia, at this innocent child who has no idea that her father is a monster, that the galaxy's greatest hope died in a swamp on a forgotten world. He thinks about telling her the truth when she's older, about preparing her for what's coming, because something is coming. He can feel it. The Force, though he has no training in it, seems to whisper to him that this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. On Tatooine, Owen Lars receives a similar message. He looks out at the desert where young Luke is playing, building something out of sand and scrap metal. The boy is so much like Anakin. It's frightening. The same quick mind, the same restless energy, the same potential for greatness or for tragedy. Beru joins him at the window. You're thinking about telling him, aren't you? Not yet. He's too young. But someday he'll need to know. Need to know that his father was a Jedi, that he fell to darkness, that he killed millions, including the greatest Jedi Master who ever lived. Owen's jaw tightens. And what if he follows the same path? What if the darkness is in his blood? Then we'll be there to guide him, to show him the light. Because if Yoda couldn't stop Vader, maybe only his son can. Back on Coruscant, Anakin stands alone in his quarters. The room is sparse, utilitarian. No decorations, no personal items. Nothing that connects him to his past or hints at a future. He looks at himself in the mirror, at his scarred face, his yellow eyes, his mechanical arm. He barely recognizes the person staring back at him. This is what you've become. This is what you chose. He thinks about his children, somewhere out there, growing up without knowing him. Part of him is glad they're better off without him, without the monster he's become. But another part, a small part that still remembers being Anakin Skywalker, aches to hold them, to be their father. Years continue to pass. Anakin's reputation as Darth Vader grows with each mission, each hunt, each display of power. He is the Emperor's wrath given form, the darkness that lurks in every shadow, the nightmare that haunts those who would resist the Empire. But Palpatine watches his apprentice carefully. He sees the emptiness, the lack of passion. He knows that true Sith must embrace their emotions, must let hatred and anger fuel them. But Vader seems to have gone beyond that. He's not passionate, he's hollow. It makes him effective, but it also makes him brittle. Palpatine begins to wonder if perhaps Vader needs a new purpose, a new obsession to fill the void that killing Yoda left behind. And then an opportunity presents itself. Intelligence reports come in about a growing resistance movement. Small, unorganized, mostly symbolic. But among the leaders are some familiar names: Bail Organa, Mon Mothma, a handful of senators who still believe in the old republic. Palpatine summons Vader to the throne room. "My apprentice, I have a new mission for you. There are those who would resist our perfect order, who cling to the failed ideals of the old republic. They call themselves the Rebel Alliance. I want you to crush them, find their leaders, destroy their bases, show the galaxy what happens to those who defy the Empire." Vader bows. "As you wish, my master." Where do I begin? Palpatine's smile is cold. There are rumors of a hidden rebel base on Dantooine. Start there. And Vader, if you find any Force sensitives among them, any children showing signs of power, bring them to me. We can turn them into new Inquisitors, or eliminate them if they prove too strong in the light. Vader's mechanical fist clenches at his side. "Of course, my master." He turns and walks away, his cape billowing behind him. As he leaves, he thinks about Yoda's final words. "Your children carry the light. One day, they will find you." He wonders if, in hunting these rebels, he might encounter Force-sensitive children. He wonders if one of them might be his. The thought fills him with something he hasn't felt in years. Not quite hope, but not quite dread either. Something in between. As he boards his shuttle to begin his hunt, he makes a decision. If he does find his children, if they are among these rebels, he will not turn them over to the Emperor. He will not let them be corrupted or killed. He will save them, protect them. It's the one act of light he can still perform in his ocean of darkness. The one debt he can try to repay to Padmé's memory. But that's a story for another time. For now, Darth Vader, the man who defeated the greatest Jedi Master who ever lived, flies toward his next mission. The hunt continues. The Empire grows stronger, and somewhere in the galaxy, two children play and learn and grow, unaware that their father watches over them from the shadows, waiting for the day when destiny will bring them together. The mission to Dantooine takes several weeks. Anakin travels with a small fleet of Star Destroyers, enough firepower to level an entire planet. The rebel base, according to Imperial intelligence, is hidden in the grasslands, camouflaged among the ancient ruins that dot the landscape. Anakin stands on the bridge of his flagship, staring out at the blue-green world as they approach. Something about it feels familiar, though he's never been here before. Then he remembers. This was one of the planets mentioned in the Jedi archives, a place strong in the Force, where ancient Jedi once trained. Of course, the rebels would hide here. They're clinging to the past, just like the Jedi did. The fleet drops out of hyperspace and immediately begins scanning the surface. Within hours, they locate the base, a series of underground bunkers connected by tunnels, housing perhaps 200 personnel. Minimal defenses. These aren't soldiers. They're idealists playing at revolution. Vader orders an orbital bombardment. Turbolasers rain down from the sky, turning the grasslands into craters. The rebel base tries to scramble fighters, but they're destroyed on the launch pads. Within minutes, it's over. The base is reduced to smoking rubble. But Vader isn't satisfied. He needs to be sure there are no survivors, no Force sensitives who might have escaped. He takes a shuttle down to the surface with a squad of stormtroopers. They land amid the destruction and begin searching through the wreckage. Bodies everywhere. Rebels killed by the bombardment or by falling debris. Vader walks among them, his boots crunching on broken stone, searching with the Force for any sign of life. Then he feels it. A faint presence, buried under a collapsed section of tunnel. He gestures to the stormtroopers. There. Dig them out. The soldiers begin clearing the debris with their hands and equipment. After several minutes, they uncover a small survival bunker. Inside are 3 people. A woman in her 40s, a man about the same age, and a teenage boy. The stormtroopers drag them out into the light. The boy is bleeding from a head wound, barely conscious. The woman shields him with her body, defiant even in defeat. The man just looks broken, staring at the ruins of everything they built. Vader approaches them slowly. The woman looks up at him, and he sees no fear in her eyes, only hatred. You monster. You killed them all. Children, medics, people who just wanted to help. And you murdered them. Vader's voice is cold, mechanical. They were traitors to the Empire. This is the fate of all who oppose the Emperor. The woman spits at his feet. The Empire is a cancer. You think you've won? You think crushing us will end the rebellion? You're wrong. For every base you destroy, 2 more will rise. For every rebel you kill, 10 more will take up the cause. Because people remember. They remember what the Republic was, what it should be, and they will never stop fighting. Vader stares at her for a long moment. Then he extends his hand and lifts her off the ground with the Force. Her throat constricted by invisible fingers. The man screams, "No, please, she's done nothing wrong." "We'll tell you anything you want to know, just let her go." Vader ignores him, focusing on the woman. He searches her mind, looking for information about other rebel cells, other leaders. She resists, her mental barriers strong despite the lack of Force training. But Vader is stronger. He tears through her defenses, ripping out memories. He sees meetings with other rebel leaders, sees Mon Mothma and Bail Organa discussing strategy, sees supply lines, safe houses, sympathizers within the Imperial government. And then he sees something else. A memory of a young girl, perhaps 5 years old, playing in the halls of the rebel base. Brown hair, brown eyes, a smile that seems to light up the room. The woman's daughter, dead now. in the bombing. The woman's anguish over her child's death hits Vader like a physical blow. For a moment, just a moment, he sees his own children's faces, sees what might happen if they ever join the rebellion. If they ever stand against him, he releases his grip. The woman falls to the ground, gasping for air. Vader turns to the stormtroopers. Execute them, all three. But before the soldiers can raise their weapons, the teenage boy stirs. His eyes open, and Vader feels it immediately. The Force, strong in this one. Not as strong as Anakin himself, but significant. Raw, untrained, but with potential. The boy looks at Vader, and in his eyes is the same hatred the woman showed. But beneath it, Vader senses something else. Fear, doubt, the same emotional turmoil Anakin himself struggled with as a Padawan. Palpatine wanted Force sensitives brought to him. But Vader makes a decision. No. Take the boy to the ship. He will be re-educated. The others execute them. The woman's scream echoes across the ruined base. You touch him, and I'll kill you. I'll find a way. I swear it. Vader doesn't respond. He simply walks away as the stormtroopers carry out his orders. The sounds of blaster fire, the boy's screams, the man's pleas. Vader blocks it all out. This is the Empire. This is order. This is what he chose. On the return journey to Coruscant, Vader visits the boy in his cell. The teenager sits in the corner, knees drawn up to his chest, his face streaked with tears. He looks up as Vader enters, and the hatred in his eyes is pure and bright. You killed them. My mother, my father, everyone I ever knew. I'll make you pay for this. I swear it. I'll become stronger than you. I'll destroy you. Vader studies him. What is your name? The boy hesitates, then spits it out. Marak. Marak. Vain. Vader nods slowly. Marak. You have the Force within you, untrained, wild, but powerful. You could become something great, or you could die here, meaningless, forgotten. The choice is yours. I'll never serve you. Never. The rebels were right. The Empire is evil. You're evil. Vader's mechanical hand clenches. The rebels were fools. They clung to a system that was corrupt and broken. The Republic failed because it was weak. The Empire is strong. It brings order to chaos, peace through power. Marak stands, his fists clenched. That's what you tell yourself? That murdering children is for the greater good? That destroying lives is bringing peace? You're lying. To me, to the galaxy, to yourself. I saw what the rebellion was. They weren't perfect, but they were trying. They were helping people. What does the Empire do? Tax them, enslave them, kill them. The words hit closer to home than Vader wants to admit. He thinks of Padme's words, her accusations, when she saw what he'd become. This is not who you are. But he pushes the thoughts aside. You will learn. In time, you will see that the only truth is power. The strong survive. The weak perish. That is the way of the universe. Marak's laugh is bitter. My mother was strong. My father was strong. And you killed them anyway. Not because they were weak, but because they threatened you, because they reminded you that there are people in this galaxy who still have hope, still have love, things you don't understand anymore. Vader turns to leave. You will be trained as an Inquisitor. You will learn to use your power properly. And one day, you will thank me for saving you from the rebellion's weakness. Marek's voice follows him out. I'll never thank you, and I'll never stop hating you. One day, I'll be free, and when that day comes, I'm going to kill you. Vader doesn't respond. He's heard similar threats from dozens of prisoners, dozens of Jedi Padawans forced into the Inquisitorius. Most of them break within weeks. The torture, the dark side training, the constant barrage of propaganda. It wears them down until they're hollow shells, ready to be filled with Imperial doctrine. But some don't break. Some hold on to their hatred, their defiance, their hope, and those ones become problems. Vader makes a mental note to watch this boy carefully. Back on Coruscant, Vader delivers Marek to the Inquisitorius training facility. The Grand Inquisitor greets him at the entrance, his pale face drawn with curiosity. Another recruit? Lord Vader? He's young, but I sense considerable power in him. Train him. Break him if you must, but make him useful to the Empire. The Grand Inquisitor bows. As you command, my lord. But may I ask, what of the Emperor's orders to bring Force sensitives directly to him? Vader's yellow eyes narrow. I have decided. This one requires preliminary training. When he is ready, I will present him to the Emperor myself. Do you question my judgment? The Grand Inquisitor pales further. No, my lord. Of course not. Forgive my impertinence. He takes Marek by the arm and leads him inside. The boy looks back at Vader one last time, that hatred still burning in his eyes, before disappearing into the facility. Vader watches him go, wondering why he made this choice, why he's keeping this boy from Palpatine. Perhaps it's because Marek reminds him of himself at that age. Or perhaps it's because, deep down, some part of Anakin Skywalker still exists. Some part that doesn't want to see another child corrupted by the Emperor's manipulation. But he doesn't have time to dwell on these thoughts. There's work to be done. More rebel cells to crush. More Jedi to hunt. More order to impose on a chaotic galaxy. The months blur together. Vader becomes a force of nature, unstoppable and inexorable. On Lothal, he crushes a rebel cell that was stealing Imperial supplies. On Ryloth, he executes a Twi'lek freedom fighter who dared to resist Imperial occupation. On Alderaan, he arrives to investigate reports of rebel sympathizers within the royal family. He stands in the throne room of the Alderaan Palace, facing Bail Organa. The senator is calm, composed, his hands folded before him. Lord Vader, to what do I owe this unexpected visit? Vader's voice echoes through the chamber. You have been identified as a person of interest in our investigation of the Rebel Alliance. I am here to search your palace and question your staff. Bail's expression doesn't change. I'm afraid that won't be possible. As a sitting senator, I have certain immunities. You cannot search my private residence without proper authorization from the Senate itself. Vader steps closer. The Senate serves at the Emperor's pleasure, and I serve the Emperor. If you refuse to cooperate, I will consider it an admission of guilt. Bail meets his gaze steadily. Then consider it what you will. But you will not violate the sovereign territory of Alderaan without cause. I have committed no crime. I have broken no law. And I will not be bullied by threats. The tension in the room is palpable. Vader's hand moves toward his lightsaber. One word from him, and the stormtroopers waiting outside will storm in. Bail Organa and his entire household could be arrested, interrogated, possibly executed, but something stops Vader. A feeling in the Force, a presence nearby, young and bright and achingly familiar. He extends his senses, searching, and then he feels it clearly. A child, a girl, somewhere in the palace. Strong in the Force. Very strong. Impossibly strong. His heart, if he still has one, seems to stop. Could it be? Could one of his children be here? He takes a step back, his focus entirely on that presence now. You have a daughter, Senator Organa. Yes, Leia. She's 5 years old. What of it? Bring her here. Now. Bail's composure cracks for the first time. I will do no such thing. She's a child. Leave her out of your investigation. Vader's hand clenches. Bring her here, or I will tear this palace apart to find her myself. Bail stares at him for a long moment, then nods to one of his guards. The guard leaves and returns a few minutes later with a small girl holding his hand. She has dark hair, brown eyes, and a face that Vader recognizes immediately. Padme. She looks like Padme. Leia looks up at Vader with curiosity rather than fear. She's too young to understand the danger she's in. Hello. Are you a friend of my father's? Vader can't speak, can't move, can't breathe. He just stares at this little girl, his daughter, the child he never knew, existed until a few years ago. She's here, she's real, she's alive, and she looks so much like her mother that it physically hurts. Bail steps between them, his voice urgent. Lord Vader, I must insist that you leave my daughter alone. Whatever business you have is with me, not with her. But Vader barely hears him. He's reaching out with the Force, touching Leia's presence gently. She's strong, far stronger than any child her age should be. The Force flows through her like a river. She's powerful, maybe even more powerful than he was at her age. And she's his daughter, his blood. Leia tilts her head, studying Vader with innocent curiosity. You're sad. I can feel it. Are you okay? The simple question, spoken with such genuine concern, breaks something inside Vader. For the first time since Mustafar, tears form in his yellow eyes. He takes a stumbling step backward, his breathing ragged. Bail immediately pulls Leia behind him, shielding her with his body. His voice is low, urgent. Whatever you're thinking, don't. Please. She's innocent. She's done nothing wrong. Vader looks at Bail, and in that moment, the senator sees past the mask, past the monster. He sees a broken man staring at something he can never have. Vader's voice is barely a whisper. I take care of her. Keep her safe. Bail's eyes widen in understanding. You know, somehow, you know who she is. Vader doesn't confirm or deny. He simply turns and walks away, his cape billowing behind him. As he leaves the palace, he hears Leia's voice calling after him. Wait! I wanted to talk to him." He seemed nice. The words are like knives in his heart. She thinks he's nice. His daughter, innocent and pure, doesn't see the monster. She sees someone sad, someone hurting, just like Padme did so many years ago, on his shuttle, flying away from Alderaan. Vader sits alone in the darkness. He knows he should report Leia's presence to the Emperor. She's force-sensitive, powerful, a potential threat or a potential weapon. That's what Palpatine would want to know, but he says nothing. He will keep this secret. He will protect her the only way he knows how, by staying away, by making sure the Emperor never learns that one of the Chosen One's children lives on Alderaan. It's the only gift he can give to Padme's memory, the only good thing he's capable of doing. But he makes a vow. If anyone ever threatens Leia, if the Emperor ever discovers her existence, Vader will do whatever it takes to keep her safe, even if it means defying his master, even if it costs him everything. On Tatooine, Obi-Wan Kenobi sits outside his small hut in the Jundland wastes, watching the twin suns set. He's heard the reports of Vader's rampage across the galaxy, the rebel bases destroyed, the Jedi hunted down and killed, and worst of all, the death of Yoda. The news hit him harder than he expected. Yoda was supposed to be the one who could stop Anakin, who could bring him back to the light. If even Yoda failed, what hope is there? He thinks about Luke sleeping inside the hut. The boy is 5 now, bright and curious and full of potential, already showing signs of his father's abilities, already asking questions about the world beyond this desert planet. Obi-Wan knows that one day he'll have to tell Luke the truth about his father, about what he became, about the destiny that may await him. But not yet. For now, Luke can be just a boy, playing in the sand, dreaming of adventure, innocent of the darkness that surrounds him. A speeder approaches in the distance. Obi-Wan tenses, his hand moving to the lightsaber hidden under his robes. But as it gets closer, he recognizes the driver, Owen Lars. Luke's uncle pulls up and climbs out, his face grim. "We need to talk, Ben, about the boy." They sit on the sand, watching the last rays of sunlight fade. Owen speaks quietly. "I've been hearing things about this Vader, about what he's doing to Force-sensitive children, taking them, turning them into weapons. If he ever finds out about Luke, he won't." Obi-Wan's voice is firm. "I've hidden Luke well. His presence in the Force is masked. As long as he doesn't train, as long as he doesn't use his abilities, he'll remain invisible. But what if that's not enough? What if this Vader comes here? What if he searches Tatooine? Then I will do what I must." Obi-Wan's hand rests on his lightsaber. "I will protect Luke, no matter the cost." Owen studies him for a long moment. "You really think you could beat him? This Vader? From what I hear, he killed the greatest Jedi Master who ever lived. What chance would you have?" Obi-Wan's expression is sad. "None. If Vader found us, I would almost certainly die. But I would buy enough time for you to get Luke away, to hide him somewhere even deeper, somewhere Vader would never think to look." Owen shakes his head. "This is madness. We're living in fear, hiding a child, preparing for a threat that may never come. Sometimes I think we should just tell him the truth. Let him make his own choices." "No." Obi-Wan's voice is harder now. "Luke is too young. If he knew about his father, about his own potential, he might do something rash, might reveal himself, and then Vader would find him. Or worse, the Emperor would. Owen stands, dusting off his clothes. Fine. We'll keep hiding. We'll keep lying to the boy. But I don't like it, Ben. This secrecy, this deception, it's going to end badly. I can feel it. As Owen drives away, Obi-Wan sits alone in the darkness. He knows Owen is right. This can't last forever. Eventually, the truth will come out. Eventually, Luke will learn who his father was and what he became. And when that day comes, Obi-Wan prays that Luke will be strong enough to handle it, strong enough to resist the pull of the dark side, strong enough to be the hope that the galaxy needs. Inside the hut, Luke wakes from a dream. In it, he saw a man in black armor, standing on a field of corpses, his hand outstretched. The man was calling to him, though Luke couldn't hear the words. It should have been a nightmare, but strangely, it wasn't. The man seemed familiar, safe, almost, like someone Luke knew, though they'd never met. He gets up and looks out the window at the desert night. Somewhere out there, beyond the stars, is his destiny. He doesn't know what it is yet. Doesn't know about the Force, about the Jedi, about his father. But he feels it calling to him. A pull towards something greater, something important. One day, he'll answer that call. But for now, he's just a boy on a desert planet, dreaming of adventure. Back on Coruscant, in the depths of the Inquisitorius facility, Marak Vane screams. They've been torturing him for months now. Physical pain to break his body, psychological manipulation to break his mind. Dark side training to corrupt his connection to the Force, but he hasn't broken. Not yet. He clings to his memories of his mother, his father, the rebellion. He clings to his hatred of Vader, using it as fuel but not letting it consume him the way his trainers want. The Grand Inquisitor enters his cell, disappointment clear on his pale face. You continue to resist. Most impressive. Most irritating. You could be a great asset to the Empire, young Marak. Why do you insist on this pointless defiance? Marak looks up at him through swollen eyes. Because you're wrong. All of you. The Emperor, Vader, the Empire. You think power is everything, but you're wrong. Love is stronger. Hope is stronger. And no matter what you do to me, you'll never take that away. The Grand Inquisitor sighs. Then we will continue until you see reason, or until you die, whichever comes first. As he leaves, Marak closes his eyes and reaches out with the Force. Not to attack, not to escape, just to feel, to sense the world beyond his cell. And in the distance, he feels others, other Force sensitives, scattered across the galaxy. Some in hiding, some in training, some fighting the Empire in their own ways. He's not alone. The Jedi may be gone, but the Force remains. And where there's the Force, there's hope. 10 years pass since the death of Yoda. 10 years of hunting, killing, enforcing the Emperor's will across the galaxy. Vader has become legend. Some worlds tell stories of him to frighten children. Others whisper his name like a curse. But to the Empire, he is the perfect weapon. Efficient, merciless, unquestionable in his loyalty. But things are changing. The rebellion, rather than being crushed, has grown stronger. They've learned from their losses, adapted their tactics. They no longer concentrate in large bases that can be destroyed with orbital bombardment. Instead, they've become a network of small cells, mobile and hard to track. They strike quickly and disappear, leaving little trace. And they have new leadership. Mon Mothma has emerged as a key figure, coordinating between cells, securing funding and supplies. Bail Organa works from within the Senate, providing intelligence and political cover. And there are others, younger leaders rising through the ranks. Vader hunts them all, but it's like fighting shadows. For every cell he destroys, two more appear. The Emperor is growing impatient. In the throne room, Palpatine paces, his yellow eyes narrowed in thought. Vader kneels before him, reporting on the latest failed mission. The rebels escaped Hoth before we could trap them, my master. They were warned. Someone within the Imperial command structure leaked our plans. Palpatine's fingers drum on his armrest. A spy. Or spies. More likely. The rebellion has infiltrated us more deeply than we thought. This is unacceptable. We need a new approach. A statement that will break their spirit completely. Vader looks up. What do you propose, my master? Palpatine smiles, cold and cruel. We will destroy a planet, not just a military target, but an entire world. Billions of lives. It will show the galaxy what happens to those who support the rebellion. It will make them understand that resistance is not heroism. It's suicide. The Death Star project is nearly complete. Palpatine continues. A battle station with enough firepower to destroy an entire planet in a single shot. When it's operational, we will use it to obliterate Alderaan. Vader's blood turns to ice. Alderaan? But it's one of the core worlds, a founding member of the Republic. Its destruction would demonstrate our absolute power. Palpatine's smile widens. And more importantly, it would eliminate Bail Organa and his entire support network. I know he's at the center of the rebellion. Destroying his world will cut the head off the snake. But Vader's mind is racing. Leia, his daughter, she's on Alderaan. She's 15 years old now, being groomed to follow in Bail's political footsteps. If Alderaan is destroyed, she'll die. He has to stop this, has to find a way. No. The word escapes before Vader can stop it. Palpatine turns slowly, his eyes narrowing. What did you say? Vader rises to his feet. Alderaan is too important politically. Destroying it could turn neutral systems against us, could drive more worlds to the rebellion. We should choose a target with less political significance. Palpatine studies him for a long, dangerous moment. You've never questioned my orders before. My apprentice. Why start now? What makes Alderaan so special? Vader forces himself to stay calm. I'm thinking strategically, my master. A show of force is necessary. I agree. But the target should be chosen carefully. Perhaps Dantooine, or one of the Outer Rim worlds known for harboring rebels. Palpatine's eyes bore into him. No, it will be Alderaan. My decision is final. Unless there's something you're not telling me, some reason you wish to protect that particular world? Vader knows he's on dangerous ground. Palpatine suspects something. If he pushes too hard, the Emperor might investigate, might discover Leia. So he kneels again, bowing his head. "Of course not, my master. I live to serve the Empire. If you wish Alderaan destroyed, it will be done." Palpatine watches him for another long moment, then nods. "Good. The Death Star will be complete in 2 months. Begin making preparations. We'll need to lure the rebel fleet into a trap at the same time. Coordinate with Grand Moff Tarkin." As Vader leaves the throne room, his mind is in turmoil. He has 2 months to find a way to save Leia. 2 months to somehow evacuate her from Alderaan without revealing who she is. It seems impossible, but he has to try. He returns to his private chambers and seals the door. For the first time in years, he removes his emotional barriers and reaches out through the Force, not searching for rebels or threats, but for his daughter. He finds her easily. Her presence in the Force has grown stronger over the years, though she's had no training. She's on Alderaan, in the royal palace, probably studying or in meetings with her father. He can feel her emotions through their connection. Determination, compassion, a fierce love for her people. She's so much like Padme it hurts, but she's also different. There's a strength in her, a resilience that's all her own. Vader sits in the darkness, considering his options. He could go to Alderaan himself, kidnap Leia, bring her to safety. But that would reveal everything to Palpatine. The Emperor would immediately understand that Vader has a personal connection to her, would investigate, would learn the truth. Then Leia would become either a weapon or a target. He could warn Bail Organa, tell him to send Leia off-world. But Bail would never agree without knowing why. And Vader can't reveal himself. The Senator would probably assume it's a trap, that Vader is trying to lure Leia out to capture her. He could sabotage the Death Star itself, cause delays in construction, buy more time. But Palpatine is watching him closely now. Any interference would be noticed. The only option is to wait and hope for an opportunity. Maybe the rebellion will discover the Death Star before it's complete. Maybe they'll organize an attack that creates chaos, gives Vader a chance to act. It's a slim hope, but it's all he has. Days pass. Vader continues his duties, hunting rebels, commanding fleets, serving the Emperor. But his mind is always on Alderaan, on the countdown ticking away. 1 month remaining, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Then intelligence comes in. The rebellion has learned about the Death Star. They're mobilizing, trying to gather their fleet for an attack. Vader brings this information to the Emperor. "Excellent," Palpatine hisses. "Let them come. Let them throw themselves against our battle station. They will be destroyed, and the galaxy will see the futility of resisting us. But first, we will demonstrate the Death Star's power. Tomorrow, we depart for Alderaan. Tomorrow." Vader's artificial heart seems to stop. He needs more time, needs a plan, but there's nothing he can do. That night, alone in his chambers, Vader does something he hasn't done in years. He prays, not to the Force, not to any god, but to Padme. "If you can hear me, if any part of you still exists in the Force, help me. Help me save our daughter. I've failed in every other way. Let me succeed in this one thing." The Force doesn't answer. No vision appears. No voice speaks. But Vader feels a warmth, a presence that could be imagination or could be something more. And in that warmth, he finds a desperate idea. The next day, Vader boards the Death Star. The battle station is massive, a moon-sized sphere of metal and weapons. Inside, Grand Moff Tarkin commands with ruthless efficiency. He greets Vader with barely concealed disdain. "Lord Vader, the Emperor tells me you'll be observing our demonstration. I trust you'll find it suitably impressive." Vader nods. "Where is the Emperor?" "He's remained on Coruscant for now. He wants reports of the weapon's effectiveness before he makes an appearance." Tarkin smiles thinly. Wise. One never knows if a new weapon will function as designed, but I assure you, the Death Star is fully operational. Alderaan will be a memory before the day is done. The Death Star enters the Alderaan system. The peaceful planet hangs in space, blue and green, unaware of the doom approaching. Vader stands in the command center, watching, his mind working furiously. He still has no plan, no way to save Leia without revealing everything. Then an alarm sounds. A small ship has entered the system, broadcasting rebel codes. It's being pursued by a Star Destroyer. Tarkin's eyes narrow. Interesting. Tractor beam that vessel in. Let's see who we've caught. The ship, a Corellian corvette, is pulled into the Death Star's hangar. Vader watches on the monitors as stormtroopers board it. They find Princess Leia Organa in a corridor, a blaster in her hand, fighting to the last. She's captured and brought to the detention level. Vader's fists clench. He should be relieved. She's here, on the Death Star, away from Alderaan when it's destroyed. But she's also a prisoner now, subject to interrogation, possibly torture. And Tarkin will use her as leverage. In the conference room, Tarkin confronts Leia. The princess stands defiant, her hands bound, her diplomatic immunity stripped away. "Princess Leia, how delightful. What brings the daughter of Bail Organa to our humble station?" Leia's voice is ice. "I'm on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan. By attacking my ship, you violated every law and treaty. The Empire will answer for this." Tarkin chuckles. "The Empire is the law, Princess, and you are a rebel spy. We found the stolen Death Star plans in your ship's computer. Quite careless of you." Vader watches from the shadows of the room. Up close, Leia looks even more like Padme. The same fire in her eyes, the same courage in the face of overwhelming odds. He wants to speak to her, to tell her who he is, to promise he'll protect her. But he can't. Not yet. Tarkin continues his interrogation. "Tell me the location of the rebel base, and perhaps I'll show mercy." Leia's laugh is bitter. "Mercy? From the Empire? I'd rather die." Tarkin's expression hardens. "That can be arranged. But first, let's give you some motivation." He gestures to the viewport, where Alderaan is visible in the distance. "Your home world is beautiful, isn't it? Would be a shame if something happened to it." Leia's composure cracks for the first time. "You wouldn't dare. Alderaan is peaceful. We have no weapons. We have no military. Attacking us would be genocide." "Precisely." Tarkin smiles, which is why it will serve as the perfect demonstration. "Tell me where the rebel base is, or I will destroy Alderaan." Every person you've ever known. Every place you've ever loved. Gone in an instant. Leia's face goes pale. This is madness. The galaxy will never forgive this. The Empire will fall. Tarkin shrugs. Then it will fall on the ashes of Alderaan. You have 10 seconds to decide. 10, 9, 8. Vader watches, torn between duty and family. He could stop this, could kill Tarkin, sabotage the weapon, rebel against the Emperor. But it would mean his death and probably Leia's as well. Palpatine would hunt them both down. There would be no escape. 7, 6, 5. Leia's voice breaks. Dantooine. The rebel base is on Dantooine. Please don't do this. Tarkin considers for a moment. Dantooine. We'll check your information, of course. But first, since we're here, we might as well test the weapon. The demonstration will proceed as planned. No, Leia screams. I told you what you wanted. You promised. I'm afraid I lied. Tarkin nods to the weapons officer. Fire, when ready. The super laser charges, a green glow building in the Death Star's focusing dish. Leia struggles against her restraints, tears streaming down her face. Please, please don't do this. There are billions of people down there. They've done nothing wrong. Vader steps forward before he can stop himself. Tarkin. Perhaps we should verify her information first. Destroying Alderaan can wait until. Tarkin cuts him off. Your concern is noted, Lord Vader, but the Emperor's orders were clear. The demonstration happens today. Stand down. The super laser fires. A beam of impossible power lances out, crossing the distance to Alderaan in seconds. It strikes the planet at the core, and for a moment, nothing happens. Then Alderaan begins to glow. The oceans boil. The atmosphere ignites. The tectonic plates shatter. In seconds, the entire planet explodes, breaking apart into millions of fragments, billions of lives gone in an instant. Leia collapses, her screams turning to sobs. In the Force, Vader feels it. A disturbance like nothing he's experienced since Order 66. Billions of voices crying out in terror and pain, then suddenly silenced. The weight of it nearly crushes him, but worse than the mass death is the personal loss. Bail Organa, the man who took in his daughter, raised her, loved her, dead. All of Leia's friends, teachers, servants, everyone she grew up with, dead. Her entire world, literally destroyed. And it's his fault. He serves the Empire that did this. He stands by and let it happen. He's complicit in genocide. Tarkin watches the destruction with satisfaction. Most effective. The Emperor will be pleased. Take the princess to her cell. We'll verify her information about Dantooine later. As stormtroopers drag Leia away, she looks back at Vader. Her eyes meet his, and for a moment, he sees recognition. Not of who he is, but of what he is. A monster. A tool of evil. Complicit in the murder of her world. Her voice is hoarse from screaming. You stood there. You watched them do it, and you did nothing. How do you live with yourself? How do you sleep at night? Vader has no answer. He just watches as she's led away. Her words cutting deeper than any lightsaber. In her cell, Leia sits in the darkness, her mind in shock. Her home is gone. Her father is dead. Everything she knew has been erased. She should be broken, should be crushed by grief. And part of her is. But another part, the part that's Anakin Skywalker's daughter, channels that grief into something else. Rage, determination, a burning need for justice. She will escape this place. She will rejoin the rebellion. And she will make the Empire pay for what they've done. On the command deck, Tarkin reviews the data. The weapon worked perfectly, even better than expected. We'll need to file a full report for the Emperor. And what of the princess's information about Dantooine? Send a scout ship. If there is a base there, we'll deal with it. If not, well, the princess will answer for lying to us. Vader stands at the viewport, staring at the debris field that was once Alderaan. Tarkin glances at him. "You seem troubled, Lord Vader. The princess's words affected you." Vader's voice is cold. "I'm merely calculating our next move. The rebels will retaliate when they learn of this. We should be prepared." "Of course." Tarkin dismisses him with a wave. "You're free to return to your duties. I'll handle the situation here." Vader leaves, his mind churning. He needs to find a way to free Leia, to get her off this station and to safety. But how? He's being watched. Any suspicious activity will be reported to the Emperor. Then Fortune, or perhaps the Force, intervenes. Alarms sound throughout the Death Star. Several small ships have entered the system. The computer identifies them as freighters, but sensors detect rebel life signs. They're attempting a rescue. Tarkin is furious. How did they find us? How did they know we have the princess? It doesn't matter. Deploy fighters. Don't let any of them escape. But the rebel ships don't run. Instead, they head directly for the Death Star, attempting to dock. It's a suicide mission, desperation and hope combined. Vader watches on the monitors as one ship, a modified YT-1300 freighter, manages to land in a docking bay. The crew, young and inexperienced, rushes into the station. They're going to try to rescue Leia. Part of Vader wants to stop them. They're rebels, enemies of the Empire, and it's his duty to destroy them. But another part, the part that's still Anakin Skywalker, sees an opportunity. If they can get Leia off the station, if they can escape, then she'll be safe. Away from the Empire, away from Palpatine, away from him. He makes a decision. He will not stop the rescue. He'll even help it in small ways. Disable security in certain sections. Create distractions. Give them a chance. But he can't be too obvious. Can't let Tarkin or anyone else suspect his involvement. The rescue attempt plays out like a chaotic adventure. The rebels, led by a young man who moves with surprising competence, fight their way through the station. They free Leia from her cell. She's suspicious at first, but when she realizes they're really here to save her, she takes charge. They fight toward the hangar, facing wave after wave of stormtroopers. And Vader watches from a distance, using his influence to ensure the stormtroopers' aim is just slightly off, that reinforcements are delayed by system malfunctions, that blast doors malfunction at opportune moments. It's subtle, but it makes the difference between success and failure. They reach the hangar, but before they can board their ship, Vader appears. He has to make this look real, has to convince everyone he tried to stop them. The rebels open fire. Vader deflects the blaster bolts with his lightsaber, advancing slowly. Leia looks at him with pure hatred. You're responsible for this, for all of it. Vader's voice is steady. You're under arrest for treason. Surrender now, and you will be treated fairly. Leia's laugh is bitter. Fairly? Like you treated Alderaan fairly? Go to hell. The young man with her, wielding a lightsaber that makes Vader's heart skip, attacks. The blade is blue. Familiar. His old lightsaber. The one Obi-Wan took from Mustafar. How did this boy get it? Who is he? They duel briefly. Vader holding back, trying not to hurt the boy. There's something about him, something that feels significant, but he has no time to investigate. Tarkin's voice comes over the comm. Lord Vader, reinforcements are en route. Do not let them escape. Vader makes a show of attacking more aggressively, driving the rebels back toward their ship. The young man is brave but untrained. His attacks wild and uncoordinated. It would be easy to kill him. Instead, Vader uses the Force to push him backward, creating distance. Go. Vader's voice is barely a whisper, meant only for their ears. Get her out of here. The young man hesitates, confused. Why would Vader help them? But Leia grabs his arm. Don't question it. Let's go. They board the freighter and blast off, escaping into hyperspace before the fighters can stop them. Tarkin is livid. How did they escape? How did a handful of rebels infiltrate the most secure facility in the Empire and rescue a prisoner? Vader keeps his expression neutral. They were better trained than expected, and they had help. Someone among our ranks who sympathizes with the rebellion. Tarkin's eyes narrow. A spy. We'll investigate. Everyone who was on duty today will be questioned, and we'll track that freighter. It has a homing beacon. We'll follow them to the rebel base and destroy them all in one strike. Vader nods, hiding his satisfaction. The homing beacon was his idea, suggested to Tarkin days ago. The perfect way to track the rebels while still letting Leia escape. Palpatine won't be pleased about her escape. But the trade-off, locating and destroying the rebel base, will be worth it. As the Death Star prepares to follow the rebels, Vader retreats to his chambers. He reaches out through the Force again, finding Leia's presence. She's safe. For now. Traumatized. Grieving, but alive. And that's enough. He may never be able to tell her who he is. May never be able to explain that he tried to save her world, that he let her escape. She'll always hate him, and she has every right to. But at least she's alive. At least Padme's daughter survives. The Force whispers to him, showing him glimpses of the future. The young man with his lightsaber is important, very important, and connected to Vader somehow, though he can't see how. Time will reveal all. For now, the hunt continues. The Death Star follows the rebel ship to Yavin 4, where the rebel base is hidden among ancient temples. The battle that follows is fierce. X-Wing fighters swarm the Death Star, exploiting a weakness in its design. A thermal exhaust port, small and heavily shielded, but vulnerable to a precise shot. Vader pursues them in his TIE Advanced, destroying rebel fighters with ruthless efficiency. He's getting closer to the lead fighter, the one piloted by the young man from the rescue. He's about to fire, about to end the threat, when something stops him. A presence in the Force. Strong, familiar, impossible. He knows this presence. He knows this boy. It's not possible. Obi-Wan is on Tatooine, watching over his son. His son. This is Luke, his boy, his son. The realization hits Vader like a physical blow. Before he can react, Obi-Wan appears on the Death Star. Vader senses him immediately and abandons the pursuit. He has to confront his old master, has to face the man who left him to die on Mustafar. They meet in a corridor, lightsabers igniting, blue against red, master against apprentice. One last time. Obi-Wan looks older, tired, but there's peace in his eyes. Anakin, or should I say, Vader. The name is all that remains of Anakin Skywalker. Obi-Wan nods sadly. Then I have truly failed you. They fight, but it's different from their duel on Mustafar. There's less rage now, more resignation. Obi-Wan knows he can't win, knows this is his last stand. And Vader fights without his usual intensity, distracted by the revelation about Luke. If I strike you down, you'll become more powerful than I can imagine. Obi-Wan smiles. You should have learned from Yoda. Some battles can't be won with a lightsaber. And then Obi-Wan does something unexpected. He lowers his guard, raises his lightsaber, and smiles. Vader's blade strikes him down, but instead of falling, Obi-Wan vanishes. His robes collapse empty, his lightsaber clattering to the floor. He's become one with the Force, just like Yoda. Luke, watching from a distance, screams. No, the distraction is what the rebels need. Luke lines up his shot, trusting the Force, and fires. The torpedoes streak into the exhaust port, and the Death Star explodes. Vader's fighter is thrown clear by the blast, spinning out of control before he manages to stabilize it. He escapes in a shuttle as the Death Star is destroyed, taking Tarkin and thousands of Imperial personnel with it. It's a devastating blow to the Empire, but Vader barely cares. His mind is reeling from the revelations. Luke, Leia, his children, both alive, both in the rebellion, both strong in the Force, both fighting against everything he stands for. He returns to Coruscant to face the Emperor's wrath. Palpatine is furious about the Death Star's destruction, but also intrigued by the reports of the young pilot who made the killing shot. Strong in the Force, he was. Palpatine's eyes gleam. We must find him, turn him, or destroy him. Vader bows. I will see to it personally, my master. Good. And what of the princess? Have we located her? She's with the rebels on Yavin 4, guarded heavily, difficult to extract. Then we will draw her out, use her compassion against her. Palpatine smiles cruelly. Begin planning an assault on the rebel fleet. When we strike, she will reveal herself to help her allies. And when she does, you will capture her. Vader nods, but his mind is elsewhere. His children are in the rebellion, fighting against him, putting themselves in danger. He needs to find a way to protect them without revealing the truth. Needs to somehow guide them away from the dark side that claimed him. But how? He's Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. They'll never trust him, never listen to him, not after what he's done. Years continue to pass. Luke and Leia grow, unaware of each other's existence, unaware that they're siblings. Vader hunts them, but always holds back at the crucial moment, always gives them chances to escape. The Emperor grows suspicious, but Vader is careful, subtle, and deep inside, Anakin Skywalker stirs. Yoda's prophecy is coming true. His children are calling him back to the light. Slowly, painfully, the man beneath the monster begins to wake. Marak Vane, now 15 years old, remains imprisoned in the Inquisitorius facility. He's endured years of torture, of dark side training, of psychological manipulation, but he still hasn't broken. The Grand Inquisitor has given up trying to turn him, instead using him as an example, a warning to other recruits about the price of defiance. But Marak isn't waiting to be rescued. He's been planning, watching, learning the facility's routines, its weaknesses, its blind spots. And one night, when the guards change shifts and there's a brief gap in surveillance, Marak makes his move. He's learned to hide his connection to the Force, to make himself invisible to other Force sensitives. He slips out of his cell using techniques he observed from his captors, moves through the shadows, heading for the hangar. He steals a small shuttle, one used for supply runs, and launches before anyone realizes what's happening. Alarms sound throughout the facility, but he's already entering hyperspace. Coordinates set for a random destination, anywhere but here. The Grand Inquisitor reports the escape to Vader immediately. Marak Vane has escaped, my lord. He stole a shuttle and vanished into hyperspace. We're tracking him, but he's learned our methods well. Vader's response is surprising. Let him go, my lord. But he knows too much about our operations. He could. Let him go, Vader repeats, his tone brooking no argument. If he survives in the galaxy, if he manages to evade us, then perhaps he has earned his freedom. The Grand Inquisitor bows, confused but obedient. As you command, my lord. Vader watches Marak's shuttle disappear from the tracking systems and allows himself a small satisfaction. The boy survived, remained true to himself despite everything. Perhaps there's hope yet. Marak lands on a backwater world in the Outer Rim, a place where the Empire's reach is weak. He's free, but traumatized, scarred by his years of imprisonment. He'll never be the same. But he's alive, and he's stronger for what he endured. He looks up at the stars and makes a vow. He will find the rebellion, will join them in their fight against the Empire, and someday, somehow, he will face Vader again. But next time, it will be on his terms. The galaxy continues to turn. The Empire tightens its grip on some systems while losing control of others. The rebellion grows bolder, striking at Imperial facilities and then vanishing. And at the center of it all, Vader walks a tightrope between light and dark, between duty and family, between the monster he became and the man he once was. 15 years after killing Yoda, Vader stands alone in his meditation chamber. It's a spherical room, suspended in the center of his Star Destroyer, isolated from all distractions. Here, he can let down his defenses, can face the thoughts he suppresses during his duties. He thinks about Yoda's final words. Not the last of the Jedi, am I. Hope remains. The old master was right. The Jedi aren't gone. Luke is being trained by Obi-Wan's ghost. Vader has sensed it, felt the lessons being passed through the Force. His son is becoming a Jedi. And Leia, though untrained, grows stronger in the Force every day. Her compassion, her leadership, her determination, all gifts from Padme, channeled through the Force. They are his children, his legacy, and they represent everything he betrayed. He thinks about all the choices that led him here, the death of his mother, his secret marriage to Padme, his turn to the dark side to save her, his slaughter of the Jedi, his defeat of Yoda. Every choice seemed necessary at the time. Every action justified by his pain, his fear, his love. But where did it lead? To a galaxy enslaved, to billions dead, to his children hunted by the very empire he serves. Was it worth it? Did any of it matter? No. The answer comes from deep within, from a part of himself he thought was dead. It wasn't worth it. None of it was. He destroyed everything he loved and gained nothing but power. And power without love is just emptiness. He hears Padme's voice, not in his head, but in his memory. You're going down a path I can't follow. She was right. She was always right. And now his children are following the path he abandoned. The path of light, of hope, of self-sacrifice. They're better than him, stronger than him. Not in power, but in character. Vader makes a decision. He will not turn them to the dark side, will not corrupt them as he was corrupted. Instead, he will protect them from a distance, will sabotage the Empire's efforts to capture them, will do whatever he can to ensure they survive, even if it means defying the Emperor, even if it costs him everything. It's not redemption. Nothing can redeem what he's done, but it's a start, a first step back toward the light. Outside his meditation chamber, the galaxy continues its struggle. The rebellion plans its next strike. The Empire marshals its forces, and somewhere in the Force, the spirits of Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Padme watch, waiting for the moment when Anakin Skywalker will finally choose again, when he will face his children and decide once and for all who he truly is. That moment is coming. The Force is converging, drawing all the key players together, and when it arrives, Vader will have to make the most important choice of his life. Serve the darkness that gave him power, or embrace the light that his children represent. Yoda's final words echo one last time. Choose again. You will have to. Choose wisely. I hope you do. The old master is gone, but his wisdom remains. And perhaps, just perhaps, Vader will prove that even the darkest soul can find its way back to the light. But that is a story for another time. For now, Vader stands at the crossroads, the weight of his past crushing him, the hope of his future calling to him. He defeated the greatest Jedi Master who ever lived. But in doing so, he lost the one chance to hear the wisdom that could have saved him. Now, he must find his own way back. And it begins with his children. The hope he doesn't deserve, but desperately needs. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.